Hey everybody, it's Gigopolis here. So, I went and seen Captain Marvel. And I'm surprised, okay? I am actually surprised. It was not as bad as I was expecting. Well, that could be because I was expecting it to be Last Jedi levels of bad, and this movie was much better than that movie. At least there wasn't gaping plot holes every 5 fucking minutes, and lore, world-breaking, cataclysmic levels of stupidity in every other scene. So, that was good. As a movie, though, it was just average. It was nothing special. There was nothing groundbreaking. It was a classic Marvel movie. Same formula. You know, you got the bad guys, you got the good guys, you got your hero, they get their powers, they beat the bad guys. It's done. It's storytelling. There's nothing that was super different about this movie. There wasn't a lot of plot holes. Well, there was one very big one. But there was a lot of contrivances. Where it's just like, where I'm watching, I'm like, really? But there wasn't a lot of plot holes where it's like it completely ruins the entire thing, where it makes it make absolutely no sense. Now, allow me to elaborate. First of all, I'm just going to talk about the movie in general, give a quick summary of it, and then I'm going to explain the big plot hole, and I'm assuming you'll be able to catch it when I say it. So, let's get going. So, the movie starts off with Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, Brie Larson's character, kind of like she lost her memory. She had some kind of accident, and that's how she got her powers. Like, she starts the movies with her powers. And basically the whole movie is her trying to, like, get her memory back, with, like, the subplot being, like, the Kree Skrull War kind of in the background, but kind of in the forefront. It kind of went back and forth. But it was more so about her. So, you know, she starts off the movie, she's fighting with, what was his name? Jude Law's character. I forget the guy's name in the movie. I just seen it yesterday and I can't remember. That's you're gonna sense the theme. A lot of the stuff that happens in this movie is not very memorable, and I think that's a problem, because, you know, I think it had a lot of the same problems that, like, Thor 2 had, where I really just can't remember much of the importance of the movie. Like, I remember what happened, but it was kind of just there and not, like, the only difference is that movie at least introduced, again, the ether. That was an Infinity Stone, the Reality Stone, which was important to the plot, or the overarching plot. Now, there is an Infinity Stone in this movie. Makes no fucking sense, though. And that is the only major plot hole that I can see that really kind of was like, wait, what the fuck? Now, I'm going to try and figure out how this could have been done, but, again, my answers are a bit iffy. I mean, again, I shouldn't have to, like, make these stories up to make your movie, you know, make sense. But other than that, it wasn't horrible. But back to the actual movie itself. So she was fighting with this character, and they're sparring, and he wants to fight her, you know, to train her without her using her Captain Marvel powers. She gets pissy because he's beaten her, and she blasts him away. I think it was done for comedy, but I mean, I was thinking a bit of a poor sport there. You know, you don't want to, you know, you're supposed to endear your hero to the crowd. But then I'm thinking to myself, well, then again, Iron Man was kind of a dick when he started too, so I could let that go. You know, the more I think about the movie, I was being a little unfair. I was. But you gotta understand, anytime I hear social justice, feminism infecting a movie, I get nervous as shit. And I still stand by some of the other comments. Like, it was a bit in your face at times. Wasn't as much as I was expecting, which, thank God. Even when fucking Feige does a feminist movie, it felt to me more like an actual feminist movie and not the new radical feminist movie. It just felt like a movie that was putting her on equal grounds with the men. To me, she didn't feel super overpowered. Well, until the end. The end, she did feel really ridiculously strong. But to me, no stronger than, say, anybody else. Like, I feel like Thor could still beat her. I feel like Iron Man has a decent chance. I feel like the Hulk has a decent chance. I mean, and when I say Thor, I mean with Stormbreaker. You know, she doesn't, you know, she was blowing up ships, but yeah, I mean, fucking Iron Man used a nuke to destroy the entire fucking Chitauri ship in Avengers, and his suits have gotten so much more powerful since then. I'm sure he can do that pretty easily now. Thor can chop those things like nothing with his new axe hammer. And the Hulk, well, I mean, he's the Hulk. So, and then you got the more human-type people, you know, like, well, Black Panther, he's dead, but Spider-Man would be another example where I feel like he would have a decent chance. Spider-Man is, again, he's still new. He's still getting stronger, you know. I think that he will get much more powerful as time goes on. He will be the new Iron Man, like with his suits and stuff, and he's, you know, because he's a genius. I'm getting way off topic. But the point of that I was trying to make is, when I'm, you know, comparing all these things together, is that this movie, as feminist, quote, as it is, it wasn't as feminist as I was expecting. Which was good, don't get me wrong. I'm thankful of that. I mean, you had some moments where, like, some obvious allegories and metaphors where she's like, okay, well, I stand by the, like, where there was that line where she said, I'll get to that later, but I'll just briefly say now, like, oh, you know, I was fighting at half strength, let's see what I can do at full power. That was clearly a, you know, men keeping women down reference. And she blasts off ahead of a portrait or a stand-up, one of those, like, stands with, like, a man and a woman, blows the guy's head off. And, like, the woman was, like, you know, fine, but the whole thing fell down. So that was towards the beginning of the, roughly, like, the first act. And that was, again, a clear, you know, knock the man down kind of thing. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. Like, there was, like, subtle things, like, you know, real sisterhood, real, you know, when she met her other friend, and, you know, teaching the boys, like, there's lines like that. But other than that, you know, the guys were making fun of her because she was a woman in, like, the military. Again, in the 90s, I guess, because that's when it was supposed to take place, that makes more sense. And that's why I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's fine. Because nowadays, I don't think that's as much of a problem. It is a problem, don't get me wrong, but as much as it was back then, yeah, I can give you that. So, the point of the matter is, this is not as bad as I thought it was. You don't need to see it, though. It's not really relevant to Endgame. It's not a movie that you need to see. But it's a movie that it's okay to see. And if some people liked it, I get it, because there's, like, flashy moments and shit. And if you're a woman, and there was empowering moments for women in there. So, yeah, that's fine. But, you know, I'm not going soft on the movie, you know, don't get me wrong. I'm not, like, praising it or nothing. It wasn't great. It was, again, sort of average. Was it the worst Marvel movie, though? I'm getting way off the point, because I was originally just getting on this to explain how it's not so bad in terms of feminism, but whatever, I might as well finish my thought. It's not the worst Marvel movie, I don't think. It's probably, like, second, maybe. It might be the worst. But it's not so much worse where it's like it's in a different league. Because if you remember when I was talking about Star Wars, how Last Jedi and Force Awakens are leagues below everything else, in my opinion. Even some of the shittier prequel movies, at least they were consistent with their, with the world, if nothing else. You know, shitty dialogue aside, and over-reliance on CGI, besides the fact, I mean, whatever. But back to the plot. That's, again, one of the problems with this movie. I can't really tell you what much the plot is. I mean, it's getting her memories back and shit, and it's between the Kree and Skrull War, but I really couldn't figure out what the hell she was trying to do the whole movie. So, After she goes and meets with the Supreme Intelligence, this is like an AI that the Kree have, and she goes on a mission to well, apparently the Skrull are, they're shapeshifters, obviously, and they infiltrate planets and then they conquer them to make their empire, and they want to get this. Well, I'm sorry. There was two plot holes, and I'm about to mention it. They want to get a hold of the light speed engine. That's why they, they go on this mission to stop the Kree go on this mission to stop the Skrull in this remote little planet. Captain Marvel gets captured, and they're trying to probe her mind to get this light speed engine because they want to be able to travel to other galaxies to allegedly conquer them or something. Now, I'm thinking to myself, though, did you just say light speed engine? Like the speed of light, like, just light speed, no faster than light travel, just, okay. Big problem, because light speed is fast, don't get me wrong, but compared to other galaxies, that is infinitesimally slow. It would take you literally billions of years, in some cases, to get to other galaxies. And by that point, they might even be not even be there. Because when you look up at space, obviously, you're essentially looking back in time, because it takes time for that light to reach Earth. So however many years, light years away that is, that's how long that image was from. Okay? So, they have this means of transport, because they are obviously traveling from planet to planet, so they do have some form of travel. Now, I'm assuming that it's like teleporting. It's not like actually traveling, from one place to another with speed. It's like you open up a rift here and open up a rift somewhere else, and you just travel through it like a wormhole or something. I would imagine that's how they're traveling, because they do kind of like just blink places with their ships. But again, a light speed is only, I'm saying only, it's like what, like almost 300 million meters per second. It's like 299, I think, and some odd whatever meters per second. And the nearest solar system is, I'm not sure how many light years away, but it's decently far. So for them to just be traveling, left and right to these places without some kind of faster than light travel is really strange. Like, you can't just increase the range of that machine. I don't know. Again, I don't know how it works, because they never explain it. That's right. They don't explain anything in this movie. So, again, plot aside, or, part of the plot, they want her because some scientist on Earth has, I guess, created this light speed magic engine. And apparently it must go faster than light, because later in the film, they want to travel to a different galaxy. Okay, not gonna happen with just light speed, but whatever. Turns out that chick that they're looking for with the light speed engine, whatever, was a Kree who defected and realized that the Skrulls are not actually the bad guys, and she wanted to make this to help them. I'm skipping quite a lot here in the plot, but again, there isn't much of a plot. I mean, she just crashes on Earth after, what happened? She escapes, the Skrulls. She lands on Earth. They chase her down. She meets Nick Fury. They go on a little adventure, through the little base. They're trying to find her memories, like, of who she was. And the Skrulls end up meeting with them. She at her best friend's house, this black chick, I can't remember her name. And she's starting to get her memories back. They play this little video from the black box of the crash. Turns out that woman was Mar-Vell. Mar-Vell was a guy in the comics. They made her a woman here, and they made him a woman here. Not sure why, but whatever. I can deal with it. Then the Skrull convince Captain Marvel that the Kree are actually the bad guys, which they are. The Kree were the ones that shot down Captain Marvel and and Mar-Vell's ship. The Lightspeed engine, Captain Marvel tried to destroy by shooting it, and when it exploded, the energy kind of absorbed into her, and she became. That's how she got her powers. It's like light power. It's weird. I was kind of confused, but so the explosion happens, and you get powers. You don't die. Okay. Again, in the comics, I'm pretty sure she got her powers from Mar-Vell personally. But okay, exploding light machine, that works too. It really reminded me of the Hulk with the gamma rays. How it just kind of like attached to him when it should have just killed him. But okay, it was fucking weird. So that's how that happens. That's how she gets her powers. And it's explained that the guy, Jude Law's character, was the one who, ordered the whole thing and killed Mar-Vell right in front of her. But she lost her memories, and they took her back to the Kree homeworld. Not Hoth. Yeah, no, Ice Planet. Hoeth? Something like that. I think it's Hoeth. And they kind of like indoctrinated her into their ways of thinking to fight the Skrull. They want to wipe out the Skrull. And there's a little cameo of Ronan the Accuser, which I didn't care too much about because, the Guardians kill him anyways, so it's not like he does anything. So, his whole thing is that he wants to go get the energy source that originally powered the Lightspeed engine, which was the Tesseract. This is the biggest plot hole in the whole story. The Tesseract at this point, it's in the 90s, should be underwater with Captain America. Because at the end of Captain America, the first Avenger, when he defeated Red Skull and had to crash that ship, or that plane, into the ice, the Tesseract just, literally 2 minutes before, fell out of the ship. I'm sure he traveled a bit far, but I remember in the when they were waking Captain America up, he had the Tesseract close by him. I'm very sure that they were looking for that too, and they found it in the bottom of the ocean. So if they found the Tesseract at the bottom of the ocean, and again, and you could say, okay, well, who knows what happens between the 90s and the 2010s when he was resurrected, or was found. Captain America was found. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, wait a minute, though. Because Nick Fury asks Captain America, what do you know about the Tesseract? And he's like, implying that Nick Fury doesn't know, but he obviously knows about it because it's in this movie. So, I don't understand, because he asked, what do you know? And he's like, well, you should have left it in the ocean. So that implies that it's been in the ocean the whole time. So how the hell could the Tesseract be on Mar-Vell's spaceship, or laboratory, which is in orbit? Now, the only thing that I'm just trying to figure out how the hell this could work. So maybe during some point in time, she found the Tesseract, she took it to her lab, and then, she was doing experiments on it. Now, what they should have done in this movie to help this problem, showed an explosion and, the Tesseract, shooting down to where it originally was anyways. That would be extremely contrived, but at least it would have made chronological sense in terms of where the Tesseract is, considering how much of a major plot point it is in Captain America, the first Avengers, and now this movie. So I have no clue what the hell the timeline is supposed to be for the Tesseract. Other than that, the movie was relatively plot hole free. I couldn't find anything that was, I mean, again, I only watched it once, that was too confusing or didn't make any damn sense at all. I'm like, where I asked myself, how the hell did that just happen? It was relatively well done. But, yeah, that whole Tesseract thing was a big problem. So, oh, and by the way, there's this cat thing that Nick Fury has around. He thinks it's a cat. It's called a Flurgan. It's basically a cat that can, like, eat things way bigger than it with tentacles that come out of its mouth. It was weird. And that's how he loses his eye. The thing scratches his face. And the whole movie kind of teases him how he loses his eye. And that's how it's done. And, yeah. So, essentially, once Captain Marvel realizes that the Kree are the bad guys, she switched sides. They capture her again, and she overpowers the AI that's trying to talk to her. She unlocks her power. She tears off her limiter. Again, that's kind of the metaphorical moment of breaking the glass ceiling or whatever the hell they're going for. Again, it was subtle enough where it didn't bother me too much, but it was kind of just like, really? Whatever. And then she just becomes really strong, like, incredibly powerful, where she's blowing ships up and shit, and she just, like, tanks, like, a bunch of Kree warheads to the face. And when I say tank, I mean she catches one, throws it back, and blows the rest of them up, and then just flies through it. So, yes, sort of, she tanks it. And then she just nukes one of their ships, just flying through it. And then Ronan the Accuser there is like, yeah, fuck this. We'll come back later. Obviously he doesn't because he's dead, so that means nothing. Then they leave, and she's on Earth. She makes the little pager that you see in the end of Infinity War, gives it to Nick Fury. Then she flies off to find the Skrull, the new homeworld, because she feels bad for them. Because apparently they were being hunted by the Kree, and they're almost extinct. I kind of like the Skrulls, actually. They had a lot of personality. They were fun characters, and I think that it's a nice addition to the scope of the universe, of the Marvel universe. That I did like. Now, every character in this movie was okay. Nick Fury was Samuel L. Jackson, he's a great actor, he did fine. Everybody played their role decent. Well, Larson did okay. She had some cringy-looking moments in it here and there. And she was pretty cocky a lot of the time. If she wasn't so bitchy in, like, the first half of the movie, and part of the second half and third act, too, she would have been a much more likable character to me. But it was fine. She was just kind of just an asshole, and she was very condescending and cocky at times. But, you know what? It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, which is a positive. See the movie if what I'm telling you doesn't bother you, and you're looking for just, like, an average to slightly below average Marvel movie. It doesn't do anything special, but it's not overly offensive. So, for anybody out there who is, who looks at my videos and says, oh, you're so negative, you're so much against these people, you gotta give the movie a chance. Okay, I give the movie a chance, and it was fine. There was nothing, again, offensive about the movie that was so on the nose where I had to just rage about it. But there was moments in there that you cannot deny are obvious feminist nods. But it wasn't the feminism that I despise. It was more moderate feminism. It was a light version that was easily palatable. Now, don't get me wrong, if you keep it at that level, that's fine, as long as, again, one, she doesn't defeat Thanos, then I'm totally beyond cool with this. This is fine. I could care less. Whatever. So as long as she's not the one who beats him, And two, this is the level that you keep it at. You don't go start now escalating the feminism. That's what I worry about. Because this was enough. This was fine. A little on the nose here and there, but fine. So hopefully that's as far as they'll go with it. If that's the case, fine. There was times in the movie where she was getting beaten up. Again, now that she has her full power, she was basically unstoppable, so it's kind of hard to gauge, but okay, she can be hurt. Now, Endgame released a trailer recently. She was in that for like 2 seconds, so she is there. She's obviously going to be in the movie. We all knew that. So, and the reason I mention that is because at the end of the movie it says Captain Marvel will return in Endgame. I'm assuming that's just a way to get people to obviously go see the next movie. Which, if they've seen this movie, I'm assuming, yes, they're going to go see the other movie. Most of the reason that they've seen this movie was because they're going to go see Endgame. But I just thought that was humorous. One thing I did want to mention that I thought was very, very nice. They gave a beautiful tribute to Stan Lee. That was very nice. You know, in the beginning of the movie, like, they show all, like, in the Marvel logo, where it's like they show all different clips from the different movies and stuff. It was all of his cameos as a little clip, and I thought that was very nice, and it was a good tribute. And I respect that. And he did have a cameo in this movie, too, and he was just, you know, sitting there on the bus reading a book, or maybe it was a newspaper, and, like, he puts the paper down, he looks at Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, and she actually smiles at him, which, again, for as wooden as her acting is, I liked that moment. That moment was like, okay, well, at least she can be human with sometimes. You know, she can have at least a little emotion, and it wasn't like she was, like, in, like, a robot character. She was a bit wooden, but she wasn't, like, an evil character or, like, a bad character. But you know, she obviously cared for people and such, you know. She's a fucking hero. She's supposed to. It's kind of their job. But, like, she was very wooden in a lot of cases, or, if not wooden, cocky as shit. And that moment where she was, like, she looked almost like humbled, or like, kind. And that was very nice. And I like that. Because, obviously, Stan Lee passed away, and they had to give him some kind of tribute, and I thought they handled it decently well. They gave, like, a thank you, Stan Lee, on the screen. So that was good, and the movie was fine. I don't have too much more to say. I wish they would have focused more on the actual plot, because there wasn't much of a plot, and they would have explained the Tesseract thing more. I'm sure that they will give some bullshit explanation, but it was fine. It was fine. Did I enjoy the movie? It's a Marvel movie. It would be hard for me not to enjoy it as a whole, but Captain Marvel's character was kind of, to me, it was bland. And it may be the worst MCU movie, but I would still give it like a 6 or a 7. Well, maybe I'd give it about a 6.5 if I was grading it as a whole. If it was just grading on Captain Marvel's character, it would be more like a 5. Again, not horrible, but nothing inspired. So, that's my rating. I'd give it about a 6.5, where most Marvel movies rank around a 7.5 to an 8. And some of the lesser ones are around a 7. And I would say the only ones that are, okay, I would instead of giving like a number ranking, I put it in like tiers. Like, tier 1 is, like, excellent. Tier 2 is, like, average. Tier 3 is, like, kind of bad, but not horrible. It's in the same category as, like, the Hulk movie was. It's not horrible, but it's not really great. Thor 2, it's okay, but it's not great. Captain Marvel, and, yeah, like those movies. You know, they're okay. I would say that those movies are just beneath, say, like Ant-Man Ant-Man was okay. I think Ant-Man would be in the same tier. I was like, it was okay, but it wasn't great. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, nothing too crazy. It was fine. I enjoyed parts of it. Some of it annoyed me, but most of it was fine. So, thank God this movie wasn't an absolute fucking travesty. And I still have hope and faith in Kevin Feige. So, with that being said, please share the video around. Give it a like, comment, and subscribe if you'd be so kind. It really does help me out. I am a small channel. I have been already, literally, I have 3 subscribers. I've been struck by Disney for using their trailers, which I could have swore was fair use, but whatever. But, nonetheless, average 10 views, and they strike me. Seriously, Disney? But I don't want to get onto that. Have a nice day, everybody. God bless. Out.